Quick question. When we see the video tomorrow, the OIS, both officers activated their body-worn cameras?
One officer did not, we don't know why, the other one did, so I don't know if he did it didn't go on. I have to find out what caused that, but the other one did turn it on. We did have the car video going, so we got audio, we got video from 2 places, and we'll figure out what happened with his, and he will have to face the music on that one as well with the investigation. And it does happen. I gotta tell you, I don't think we've done a scenario with you. Where you have the scenario and you come out, you have to turn on the camera, tap it twice and go out. Sometimes that doesn't happen. Rarely, but just enough for us to know that we don't have a perfect system. So we have to deal with that. One of the cameras didn't go on, and we need to find out why.
And you're sure when we see the video tomorrow, next day, whatever, that we will see Mr. McClain holding the whip?
Yes. I think we're gonna enhance the video at all, or?
Yes.
Yeah. So, very important. Very, very important for us as a community. And you know, when you do things like this, it's not like you're trying to prove people wrong, because that's not the intent at all. You know, I wish we'd get this out within hours of the shooting so the rumors that start are true, and we're facing the facts of the case and being accountable to the community. That's a better route to go. That's where the future of policing will be, where we get this out instantly, and the criticism and the vigils and the protests will be based on truth, and say we're responsible for that. That did happen, and that there we own. Yes, sir.
Well, the streets in the 80s were much different than they are now, but I don't think much has changed as far as a black man in the community, you are much more fearful of the police right now. Like, so you have to understand, and your officers have to understand that it's scary to see the lights, to get the lights on you. If being a black man, if the lights turn on you, like your heart start beating, even though you know you didn't do anything wrong.
I'm with you, man.
You know, so
my question to you is, what can we do to help change that? How do we balance the need to police either from what might be viewed as a light perspective, or policing in a more aggressive if we have shootings and gang violence, and trying to find this balance? How do we do that by helping how you feel on a regular stop where you might have went through a stop sign or not, right? And it happens to be nighttime. How scared are you now?
I'm scared.
I got you. So how do we change that perspective? How do we have an honest conversation? Because in the past, I would argue with you and try to get away, and we'd have separate spots. I'm saying I'm willing to come halfway to where you're at. Are you willing to come halfway to where I'm at to try to figure this out? We did a series of community conversations we got away from. Those were good for us. Uncomfortable, but good for us. We got the community to meet the young officers. I tell this to our officers that the more they could say hi to people and engage them, the less they need me. You don't need me.
But John, I'm gonna call bull on it.
Go ahead.
You and I both know how they behave in front of you is one way, and when they're out on the street, it's a totally different way.
For the most part.
And we still see them in alert circles when they are out in the community. They're not integrated into community and talking.
Yeah.
You know, you see them in restaurants, they don't speak.
Yeah.
You know, it almost has to become, we have to initiate communication. But my question is, and this
most of the time, yes.
This is kind of piggybacking on what Dennis is saying, is to the best of my knowledge, no African American, every African American that has been killed by the police in this city, it's not been by a black officer. It's always been by either a white, Latino, other, or something else. And so there's a real, this is to bring Dennis's point home, there's a genuine fear.
Absolutely.
That I don't believe it's the community's total responsibility, because in most cases, if Dennis gets stopped, I get stopped. We don't have a gun. We don't bring that into a situation. There's only one gun, or 2 or 3, depending on how many the officer is carrying. How are you going to bring people to make them feel safe? Because now it's really policing is a public safety issue, not the way maybe you understand it to be, but it is life-threatening for black men.
And let's go beyond that. The priority for black men more than anybody else is the challenge. The Latino voice is out there and it's quiet. But we do know that this is an issue for our community and how we develop our officers. The question for us is, what are we trying to do as a community to get them in that place? Hire it locally, agreed. Hire it from our neighborhoods, agreed. Internal training, constantly, a little harder to get at, I agree. The outcome of years of doing the policing and ensuring the officers don't go to the dark side and how they think and feel, right? That's equally important. So now we're talking about an area that's dangerous. We're talking about officer wellness. People don't like to talk about that. I've been telling people since I've had this spot that the safer the officers feel, the safer you will be. And that is a true statement because of the fact that inside this house, before they leave here, they gotta believe the community supports them. They gotta believe that they know how to do their job well. They have to believe that they can say hi to people in a restaurant and it's okay. And somehow that leaves us. Somehow that stops. Somewhere along the line it doesn't work.